So, very interesting thing about Vegas that I just want to highlight because it shows that if you change your mindset, you can change a lot. I'd go up to Vegas. Often I'd have a meeting cancel in the afternoon, so I'd fly from Phoenix to Vegas. It's a short flight. It's 37 minutes of airtime, so I'd be there in a jiffy. And I'd get my team to try and book a hotel room for me. Well, there are 135,000 hotel rooms on the Strip. All right. In fact, there's one intersection there, Las Vegas Boulevard and Tropicana, which has 4 hotels, the MGM with 5,005 rooms, and they're expanding it, New York, Excalibur, and the Tropicana. Those 4 hotels between them have more hotel rooms than the entire resort city of San Diego. So it's huge, 135,000 rooms on the Strip. Average occupancy about 1.62 people per room. So that means on any night there are about 200,000 people occupying hotels on the Strip. And more often than not, I couldn't get a room there, so they were full. So that means that there are 200,000 people doing what they do in Vegas. What's the primary reason they go? To gamble. All right, so you may not know this, but you know your chances of winning the jackpot? 1 in 16 million. All right. So here's a question for you, and I especially invite the accountants to think about this and the people who want to have a check on reality. If you do not win in the casinos, do the casinos give you your bets back? No, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Well, here's another slightly more sophisticated question. If you don't win, do they give you interest on the money that you gambled for the duration of the event? No, that's the most ridiculous thing. Do you know that the casinos are now sucking $1 billion through their casinos out of the economy every month? Every month, $1 billion US. And I love it. I love it because I call it voluntary taxation. That's why I can go to Vegas. I get subsidized hotel rooms, subsidized meals, subsidized everything, the best shows in the world. And most of it's paid for by the people who throw money at these machines, all right? So hold that thought. 1 chance in 60 million of winning, no money back, no interest on your money. Once a month in Vegas, there's an event called a tax lien certificate sale. You don't need to remember this. I'm not encouraging you to do it, or that's not a bad idea. And what it means is if someone's behind in their rates, what do they do here in Sydney? If you're behind in your rates, what happens? How long does it take for the sheriff to come? Does he come the very week you're late? No, it can take 2 years, right? So the council's got millions, probably hundreds of millions of dollars of outstanding rates that haven't been paid. Well, in the United States, when you're behind in your rates, they call it property taxes here, which is probably a slightly more accurate description. Then they have a sale called a tax lien certificate sale. And it's a lien because they have this room and only about 50 people turn up. And they say, right, here's a property. They owe $3,500 on their taxes. Who wants to pay their taxes on their behalf? If you choose to pay the taxes and you pay the $3,500, you get a lien, which is like a debt to you, which is secured on the title. And by law, it ranks higher than the first mortgage. So it's got the best security. And when you've paid that, that lien is on the title, it's in your name, and the owner of the property has what's called a redemption period of 18 months to pay you back, plus 16% interest. So they've got 18 months to pay you back, plus 16% interest. If they don't pay you back in that time frame, you get the house. Is that a hot deal? So let's just review it. Someone's behind in their property taxes, you elect to pay them for them. You pay the property taxes, and you are guaranteed to get your capital back plus 16%, or you get the house. About 50 people turn up on a Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month for that. And yet every night, 200,000 people turn up for 1 chance in 16 million of winning. And if you don't win, no money back and no interest. I don't understand that. Now, the good thing for you, and I want to acknowledge it, you are here tonight. It's the midweek night. You could have been home watching inane soaps on TV. You could have been spending time with your kids, which is a very admirable thing to do. You could be taking your special one out for a dinner or something. You could just be relaxing. And you chose to give up all of that to be here. So I want to acknowledge that, and I thank you for being here. I just hope that at the end of the evening you'll say, well, that was a fair exchange. It was worthwhile. But do you see how I can't understand how some people think? And the trick in life is not to figure out how the masses think. Don't figure out how the 200,000 think. If anything, go to the tax lien sales yourself or do whatever you want to do yourself. And talk to your friends and people, and this is why I get up on stage. This is why I'm back in Australia, because I feel I can contribute. Some people donate to various societies, and I think the best I can do, even though I could contribute to the leprosy campaign in Africa or the local cat society or something, I think I can have a bigger impact for more people by teaching them what I do, or at least sharing what I do and giving them the option. Does that all make sense? So anyway, that's what we do in Vegas, and the great commercial deals there. Whole bunch of books I've written, 15 of them now. But this is kind of my favorite book, because this is on commercial real estate. And I want to spend a bit of time discussing this with you tonight and some of the aspects of it, because most people don't understand what makes commercial so special. Just to finish it off, I've got lots of other courses here. Some I have that I can show here. We'll talk about them a little bit later. And then we also have software, because even though I try to simplify things and, to give that some perspective, for those of you who don't know, I spent 8 years at university. I ended up getting a PhD in electrical engineering. Some of you will know that's not the easiest course around. That's 7 days a week, 11 hours a day. All right, and it's because I came from a family that believed that to do well in life, you have to study hard and get a degree. And yet when I first came to university, I looked around at the people with the degrees, the professors and the tutors and the lecturers, and they didn't seem rich to me. They were well off, but they weren't rich. And even if they're on a salary of $110,000 a year, which is for many people a handsome salary, you'll know on the 1st of January that all you earn by the 31st of December is that 10,000, maybe with a 2% inflation index salary increase. But you won't earn 11 million or 50 million. There's no way you'll earn that. And that's why when I was a professor at UNT, one of the criteria that I instituted there is that if a teacher of real estate can't earn at least 5 times his academic salary doing the deals that he's teaching about, then he shouldn't be a teacher. And I think 5 is modest, but I wanted a bar put in place. It should have been, 50 times or something. Does that make sense? So anyway, I realized that there was more to life than engineering, but the engineering came in handy because we've developed the software, and this is the software I always wanted. I tried every program out there. But when you analyze real estate, most software tries to analyze it from the perspective of, is it a good deal or is it a bad deal? And you can't do that, folks. The question has to be, is it a good deal for your circumstances? Everyone has a different amount of cash in the bank, a different borrowing capacity, a different ability to raise capital, different energy and zest that you can put into it, different experience level, and therefore a deal that may not be good for me could well be very good for one of you. And the trick is, how do you discern that? So we developed this over the years and we added to it, and it's quite sophisticated. When you come to one of my programs, we include it and we spend quite a bit of time analyzing it. And just to show you the way we do things, the CD is silkscreen printed, but even the instruction book, it's in full color, because have you ever had it when you look at what the screenshot should be and it's all black and white? Where here it's full color. Anyway, that's by the by. So we've got all the tools to use this stuff, and again, programs in Japanese and whatnot. And here, I just want to give you a perspective. We went through a very bad phase worldwide, everywhere. Everything was in turmoil, and we're slowly coming through it. But there were lots of foreclosures, which are probably called mortgagee sales here. But look at this. Every house on the street was for sale. And before we launch into some of the commercial-specific stuff, I want to share a little video clip. It was a low resolution and quality recording from a newsreel to just highlight how bad it got in the States.
Demolishing these homes. I've got the story from the guys on the site, as well as Patrick Thatcher, who is the reporter who reported on this. And it was Matthews Homes who owned the homes. It was Guarantee Bank in Irvine who is paying for the destruction of these homes. And this is just amazing footage we've got right now. The story is there were 4 model homes and 12 almost finished homes. The bank was being fined daily by the city of Victorville for these unfinished homes. and they decided just to destroy the homes. And here's the breaking news I've got for you right now. The guy who's running this machine here told me that they've got another 20 homes in Temecula, California. That's about an hour from here. The location of this site is Victorville, California, on Bear Valley Road and the 395. I don't have an exact address, of course, because this is new homes without an address. But there's the story for you. I'll print the story and post it on my website on visionvictorymanifesto.com. But definitely breaking news right now. I mean, they're literally destroying these homes in Southern California, and this is not the end of it. They're going to hit another set of homes in California. They've already destroyed one of them. This is the second house of the day.
So, folks, do you get what went on here? The builder, the developer, built these homes, and because they weren't quite finished, because the market slowed down, he didn't make the pre-sales that he thought he would make, the council started fining him on a daily basis because they just want money. And then he thought, it's going to be cheaper for me to destroy them. Is this good or bad? Well, folks, I want you to remember one thing. Whenever I ask a question, the correct answer is neither good nor bad. It's always, it depends. It depends entirely on whether you're the developer or the guy getting the contract to demolish them, because he made some money out of it. Or whether you might be a little bit opportunistic and say, well, dang it all, surely we can find tenants for these things. And if they're only 95% complete, we'll do the painting ourselves or employ a bunch of people to do it. Do you think there's an opportunity here? So anything that's good or bad, depending on your perspective, can be turned around, or you've got to look at it with a new light. You've got to see it from a different angle. So that's how bad the situation was in the States. Prices were so low there. They say it's the worst crisis since the Great Depression, that none of us will ever see it again in our lifetimes. Prices went down in Phoenix up to 80%. Is that good or bad? It depends. It's hot. Prices were low. So at one stage, we brought Australians across because the Australian dollar was the highest it had been in 58 years, right? It peaked at about $1.10 or $1.11. The US dollar was low and the market there was low. We had Australians not being able to believe it. They say, what we spend for one house in Australia, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house or whatever, we can buy not 4 but 5 of them over in the States. And they each generate as much rent. So why weren't you there? Well, busy life, kids, schooling, this, that, the other thing. Have a job, couldn't take the time off and all that. That's why I applaud you for being here, because even if you don't take action today, you might decide to take action in a year's time because of attending tonight. And that will be better than not attending and having watched a soap, because I can guarantee you whatever you would have watched on TV tonight, any ridiculous soap, which is only a scriptwriter's fantasy, it's not a reflection of reality, and they just fantasize scripts to entice you to watch sufficiently so that when there's an ad break on, you watch the ads, because that's how they make money. When you watch that program, it's that in a year's time you'll have zero benefit from having watched that program. But by attending events like this, and not just this one, anyone, you know, Stuart puts on a whole series of great events. And by the way, is it a competition between all the speakers that, I promote commercial and someone promotes development and someone promotes renovating? Don't do that. No. They are all possible. You can intertwine them all. I focus on commercial. Have I developed commercial? Yes. Do I renovate commercial? You better believe it. That's where some of the greatest profits can be made. So the point is you never learn less. And I'll often get it. You know, it's very interesting. When I had only one book, people would buy it. But when I had 2 books, they'd come up to me at the end of an event and say, well, which one should I buy? And I'd say, well, let me ask you, how much money do you hope to make in real estate? Like $50, $100? And they said, no, like $500,000, $1 million. You can't even spend $20 buying these books. Why would you choose one or the other? Just get them all. So it's a little bit like that. So it's all very interesting. So I'm here to show you that you can intertwine any of these, but my personal preference is commercial. Let's go over some of the reasons why. The fundamental difference between commercial and residential. I imagine there are people who's already invested in commercial. I'm great, happy to see that. And how many of you are involved in the commercial real estate industry? You might be an appraiser or a valuer, I guess it's called, and an inspector or a leasing agent or something. A few of you? That you have to be willing to admit it. Well, I guess you wouldn't have put your hand up there another way. Okay. Here and there, I see these hands go.